All right, so pasta, guys, right?
Ooh, my favorite.
We gotta do this more often, man. I'm telling
So this
you.
is Rusticellica. This is like one of my favorite brands ever, right?
I like cavatelli because it's like penne, but
Yes,
the
but it
sauce
absorbs.
gets captured.
Well,
Yeah.
what I made earlier for you today, I made it my great grandmother's famous lobster raviolis.
Oh man,
right?
I love that.
It's gonna be.
You're listening to Studio 22.
Welcome to Studio 22. I am independent film writer and producer and CEO of Double Down Pictures, Will Meldman. I am here with my co-host, as always, Brock O'Hearn. You can find him on HBO with The Righteous Gemstones and Euphoria. You can find him on NBC with The Young Rock. There aren't many places you won't find him. Brock O'Hearn, how are you?
I'm doing good, brother. Excited to be here and excited for this one. This is a good one, man.
We are joined today with the executive chef at the Summit Club in Las Vegas and owner of Geno's restaurant, Geno Bernardo. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys, man. Thank you so much for having me on. It's gonna be a blast, man.
Dude. Yeah,
I'm
man,
really
thanks for
excited,
doing
man. Like, me and Will talked about this in Hawaii when I was cooking for his father at McKenna, and I was like, why don't we do something? And like at first, like he was, like, I don't know, like then it triggered, and it was like, then it's like, yeah, let's do it, right?
Yeah,
so
man.
I was just like, I was like, you know what I mean, like food conversation, you know, it's a great mix. You know?
This is gonna be in my top 5 for the rest of my life, I think, dude. This is definitely something a little different for us, but exciting, man. We're grateful to have you on, and dude, honored to have you cook for us, and yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Well, shoot, man. We're gonna dive into a little bit of your life, where you started, your career history, man, and then what you're making tonight.
Let's do it. You know what I mean?
Man.
It's been a culinary journey for me.
For me, I'm curious. Do you have like a core memory with cooking, or was there like a first introduction to cooking where you're like, yo, I love this early on, right?
So when I was a kid, like a bambino, a nino, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My great grandmother, she got me into cooking. My mother sucked at cooking, and my grandmother was average, right?
Yeah.
So it was my great grandmother that really like I was just fascinated. Like she would hand make raviolis for some reason. Like I wouldn't leave the kitchen. I would always like you know, and it wasn't like back then. You know how I grew up in this 80s and 70s and everything like that. It was like kids got kicked out of the kitchen. You know what I mean? You don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like an Italian family. The women cook. You know what I mean? You know the grandmothers cook. The nonnas cook. But I was just always, I was fascinated by it. And I always was attached to her. Like she could make the greatest peanut butter and jelly snack. I didn't care, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was always into like learning that craft. And for me as an Italian kid growing up on the Jersey Shore, like from both sides, like that was family, you know what I mean? On Sunday, we would like literally Sunday dinner, you know?
That's awesome.
And I just loved it. And then, started high school, and I've always worked in restaurants, always, my whole life.
Do you think that feeling of, kind of the family being gathered around and that feeling of being together, was that kind of a big part of it too?
Yeah, I mean, like, like whenever you possibly have that family connection, then, then, my parents get divorced, and, then the family switch and everything like that. But I always had my great grandmother, you know what I mean? Mrs. Mattei, Laura Mattei, you know what I mean? She was from Florence, Italy. But like, it always brought us together, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Feast of Seven Fishes, every Sunday, either side of the family, you go to somebody's house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talk loud and eat a lot of food.
Yeah, that's
Hell
awesome,
yeah.
man. I mean, food, dude, even my family as well, too. It's always kind of my favorite holiday in my family's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like the women, my mom, my aunt, my grandma, my sisters now too can cook like nobody's business, and bake also. Like they're incredible. And it's just something like when you have a good meal, someone just clicks. It's like, one, you feel good, there's comfort there, right? And then people are opening up, you're having a good time, and you're catching up around the table. And like something like that with Thanksgiving, for example, is like we get to do that once a year, right? Where we get everyone together. But that's really cool, man, that you're able to. In my way of looking at it, like I wish I was better at cooking, right? And then I can obviously get better. Maybe I'm gonna take some notes tonight. But man, the ability to bring people together, it's like you can speak through your food. You can bring people together and tell a story through all of it, man. And we're storytellers, right? We all are in our own right. And you're doing it with food, man. It's awesome.
It took many years to get to where I'm at, but there's nothing better to be like at a dinner table with friends or family, holiday or no holiday, and it's just like it's magic. You know what I mean? Like even like when we were in Hawaii, right? All those dinners and everything like that. It's just easy going.
For Dad's birthday.
Yeah, you know, and it's like you go and you talk, you know, and then it splits off, and then you change your seat and everything like that, and the food's coming and everything like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like like a duck, you know, the duck's going cruising and everything, but the feet are going like a down.
Right.
That's hilarious.
One of my best memories with my father growing up is, you know, because my older brother was away at boarding school for a little bit, and I was living in San Francisco with him. Every Sunday night, we'd order takeout Chinese food from like a dive Chinese restaurant, right? And it's like that tradition has stuck with us like our whole lives.
Man, we do it every summer, right?
Exactly, right?
Every Tuesday, every Wednesday night, we do, you know, Chinese takeout.
Yeah.
And it's like
embedded in the Meldman family.
That's awesome.
It's like a meal-based tradition, right? Like,
totally.
Yeah, power food, baby.
Yeah.
What was your first job where you actually were getting paid to do what you love, right?
So there's two stories, right? Two great stories. So my first job, I think I turned 15 and I went to McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's, right?
Man.
Back then, it was still scratch cooking. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you just pounded, right? So I worked at McDonald's and
like working the stove.
So I don't know, like there were some hot chicks working there and everything like that. It just it was the place to go. You know what I mean? There were a bunch of my friends were working there, and then I did that, and then I washed dishes in the summertime at Jimmy's on the Jersey Shore, but I worked at Pizza Hut, and this is like Pizza Hut, you know, like another cool place in my town to work at. Everybody worked there, right? Yeah. Either you're a server or you're a delivery guy. But so I started, right, and I was the pizza assembly guy, right? So the ticket would come in, you make the pizza pot, and then you put it through there, the convection belt and everything like that. But the cool cat was the guy that took the pizza out and like cut it and served it, right? Like he was like the man, you know what I mean? Like everybody loved, like the girls loved him and everything like that. He was the stud, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, right? So I was doing great at that, and like I was like, yo, let me try. So like I was doing it, you know what I mean? When he wasn't, like he would help me out. So like one Friday, I switched with him, and we didn't tell the managers or anything like that, right? Yeah. Friday night back in the day, Pizza Hut was packed, you know what I mean? Wow. Right? So I'm cruising along and everything like that. We're going and everything like that. Then the hit comes, right? And then I can't keep up, right? And pizzas like are backing up. And I'm going like this, right? Pulled them out. And the manager, GM comes by and he goes, what is going on? I'm like, I got it. Right? Pizzas are literally like falling off, backing up.
No.
Like, and then so like right there he goes, you got to go. You're fired. I'm like, no way, man.
Not even a warning.
Nothing. Like this was like, listen, if you saw the mess, I didn't even know. But that, like, you know, that was like, and that was the only job I was ever fired from. Now as the executive chef of a property for Discovery Land. Yeah. I understand that, you know, you gotta, you know, kids and young chefs have to be trained. Regardless if it's Pizza Hut or McDonald's or a 3-star Michelin restaurant. You just can't let somebody do something that they haven't been trained to do.
Yeah. Speaking of training, like, did you go to school for culinary arts?
So I went to Johnson & Wales in Providence, Rhode Island.
Right.
And that was way before that was years before the Food Network.
Right.
I went to culinary school, like I thought, you know, get a job and work at hotels and, you know what I mean? Maybe one day open up a restaurant, but it was, you know, I got a 4-year degree. I got my 2 years in culinary, and I got a bachelor's in business.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So like I did, you know, I did 2 years of culinary, and I did food and beverage, right? So I got I got my bachelor's. But after, I didn't think I got so burnt out. Like I was like, you know, like I didn't know if I wanted to be a chef, and I went to front of the house. You know what I mean? I was a manager at, you know, Hula Hands in Faneuil Hall in Boston.
Yeah,
well, how important, like a follow-up to the education question, like how important do you think education is and getting a degree is in the culinary arts for the aspiring chefs out there? I
mean, listen, there's 2 ways to think about it, right? If you grow, like, I didn't have to go to culinary school, but it gave me a foundation.
Yeah.
Right? And it's what you pull out of that school, right? I did a lot, but I could have did so much more. There was so much more learning that I could have done, but it was college, you know what I mean? I was a 19-year-old kid.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? I was a 19-year-old kid. I joined the fraternity.
What fraternity?
ATO.
Okay, nice.
But like you, listen, a bunch of culinary kids, whatever. I support and I love Greek life. I think it means a lot to so many different, people. But
yeah,
but it was also, it was college. You know what I mean? Like Johnson Wales, big campus. There's business. There's equestrian and everything like that. Friday Night King. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Yeah. So but I think, but then also. I know I have a lot of chef friends that are executive chefs that, own restaurants or are big time within the culinary world, and they didn't pursue the culinary route. They just got trained and they studied harder.
So speaking of that, right, and it's kind of the unique thing about America, right, is like you can kind of go the traditional college route or you can go a more kind of European route, which is either a vocational school or just jumping right into a job, right? And so what would be the path for people out there that, don't want to go to college, but want to be a chef?
I think like if you really, really want to be a chef, right, I would definitely say go to wherever you live, go to that. If there's a hot restaurant or there's a local restaurant, go and see what it's all about. Because it's not all what it's cracked up to be. Usually a lot of hours, you're working in heat and it's
stress.
It's stress and it's, you're getting yelled at and, and the money's not good and it's long hours, but it's a passion. You know what I mean? If you work in a restaurant within that first year, either you're going to love it or hate it. Either you're going to quit or you're going to pursue it.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's all about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And listen, there's so many different levels of restaurants and culinary, right? Listen, working here, right? I need a guy a Denny's cook. Right in the morning time, like that's what I go after. Someone that could cook eggs, right?
Oh, wow.
That could, I don't need some fancy, I'm a superstar chef. They're not gonna last, right? I need a kid that works at Denny's or
produce a lot
of things.
Yeah.
Knows how to make eggs, right? And then you have lunch, someone's aspiring to be a young chef and everything like that. And dinner time, like you need that we call soigné, you know what I mean? That they're finesse, you know what I mean? They want to be, they want the best of the best. And in the club life, it's different. When I was on the Strip, I opened up, Palms Hotel. I had a, Michelin star restaurant called Nove Italiano, and you got the young hunger guys. You know what I mean? But I have a name here at Geno's, so like I still attract those guys. But other clubs around the world and country, it's tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine how competitive it is.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, like
especially this city.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit earlier that you said there was a point where you thought you were getting a little burnt out, right? Like what was making you get burnt out?
The longevity, right? You know what I mean? It's the long hours, and you're working, and you're not really, moving up
Yeah.
chain. You know what I mean? So like during that time, my mentality's flipped. You know what I mean? A bunch of us moved to San Diego. Moved there.
From Jersey to San
Go
Diego,
after culinary school. After culinary school, I lived in Boston, and like 25, and we moved to like 10 of us, managers.
cool.
We moved to San Diego. We wound up in IB and everything like that. Then Pacific Beach. But then like I was like, you know what? I'm gonna absorb the culture of California. You know what I mean? I worked on fishing boats. I worked at every restaurant I could. I was a mercenary. You know what I mean? You want to hire me?
Yeah.
You can hire me.
That's sick.
These are the days that I can work Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
I'll be there 5, and I had multiple jobs. And it kind of like,
Rough.
it got me sparked again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it got me hungry. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think like with any career, anything you do, you definitely there's a bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just got to, because you see other people and you think I'm better than that person. But, and I was lucky. I was really, really lucky. I got a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I met a chef in San Diego before I moved out to San Diego. I got a big fucking break, and after that break, I never let it go.
Yeah,
I worked twice as hard.
I love that you're saying that, man, because I talk to that with friends all the time, man, especially in Hollywood. You're sitting around and you got to catch a break. You got to get lucky sometimes, man. And that's kind of sometimes the only way to make it, but it's what you do with that, right? What do you do with that? You're still showing up. You're doing all the work. One of my friends said one time, he's very successful. He said, it's hard to get to the top. It's even harder to stay there. So you catch a break, but like not some people get that, and then they only get their 10 minutes of fame.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
They burn out,
Yeah,
they don't put in the work.
You know what I mean?
But it's what you do with those opportunities that make all the difference, man. So that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Did you ever see your life going the path that you've had now, based off your passion, right?
No. Like, you know, I was the kid that, you know, no one's always lived to 50. You know what I mean?
Really?
In my neighborhood and all, like how I grew up. You know what I mean? That's another story. Never do with that. But I was just that kid. You know what I mean? Like, I was, and yeah, you know, I just
You're not 50 yet, are you?
I'm 50. I turned 52 in April.
Oh, no way.
Hell
yeah, man. Well, you made it, bro.
I crossed the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I felt it. You know what I mean? I worked harder. You know, read more. I dined out more. You know what I mean? I stayed later. You know what I mean? I got there earlier on my dime. You know what I mean?
That's cool, man.
You know, it's like a sport in a lot of ways, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
It's competition every day.
So you mentioned Nove and having a Michelin star. I mean, that is every chef's dream, right? I mean, what went into that besides obviously all the hard work and everything taken to get there, but like take us there.
It's being the coach, be in every position possible, you know, and developing a team, you know what I mean? And making sure that we fulfill everybody that comes into the restaurant dream. You know, I train the cooks, I train the servers, I train the GM. You know, I'm the voice. You know what I mean? Everybody else is going to follow me in any restaurant ever since I took over, and it's every day, right? And every day we're playing for the national championship, the World Series, or the Super Bowl, or the Stanley Cup, right? Or Olympic gold medal. If you're practicing preseason, and we're going to lose. You know what I mean? You know, it's tough. Every day, it's game day. You can't, you know, listen, there's off nights and everything like that, but, you know, who's suffering? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that.
The guest suffers, right?
Yeah.
So, like, as a chef, and I was fortunate enough, I was mentored by a chef called Michael Cornick, MK out of Chicago.
Cool.
Right? He was my mentor, right? He believed in me, right? Even though, like, you know, he hired me and everything like that. And so we opened up a restaurant before the Palms and before Nove at the Palm Springs, same group, but like a year earlier. And he hires me, and I swear to God, guys, I am like, up, you know what I mean? So bad, like not cooking, like I can still cook and everything like that, but like he's like grilling me. How many cups are in here? How many ounces is this?
Wow.
Why is this like?
You gotta know everything.
Everything. And I know it, but I just was so nervous. Like I was nervous. He was a James Beard winner 2 times. Like the guy's sick, right? You know, Michelin star. You know, worked for Let Us Entertain You. Like in the early days, you know. So I go home and everything like that every night, like rattled and like not defeated, but just like goddamn, like reading again. Like I know this shit. You know what I mean? But I just got tongue tied, right? Yeah. So one day he just like with my upbringing, my jerseyness in me, like he fucking just pissed me off one day, and I'm like, I'm gonna, you know what? So I fucking looked at him. I go, listen, BB King don't read music, and look how famous he was.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And like he stopped, and he goes, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
And from that day on, it just clicked for me.
Yeah.
Like it just clicked. Like
Yeah,
and then I was never nervous around him, and I stood on my own 2 feet,
Stood your
and
ground.
I told to listen. You know what I mean? I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But like that, like I had to, you know, like it's like the little bull challenge and the big bull. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
man.
I had to say, hey,
Yeah.
this is my restaurant. You're gonna be my mentor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach you. You know that I could do it. You know.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing about culinary. It's respect.
Yeah.
It reminds me
That's
of
what it sounds like, yeah.
2 characters in a show called One Piece on Netflix.
Yeah.
There's 2 chef characters. One's a mentor, one's like the prodigy, and that's great.
But even that too, like you're talking about him being a mentor, MK, right? Like what it sounds like from what I'm hearing is that he was giving you some tough love, right? And he was testing you at the same time. But what you did is you rose to the occasion, right? And then you're like, I know I got this, right? And then that's how
it was tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you're tougher, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it was definitely a good time. You know.
Hell yeah.
Let's get into the first course.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we're we're gonna start with a little Italian, right? So charcuterie, right? Italy have charcuterie, Spain have charcuterie, but this is just what you would see at the restaurant at Geno's, or you would see. We have a comfort station at the Summit. It's called Jerry's after Jerry Weintraub, very good friend of Mr. Meldman's, and just the whole Discovery Land. And what we have there is like a working charcuterie board, right? So our cooks, our young chefs are there, you know, slicing it up and everything like that. So we have different cheeses from Italy. We have gabagool, we got prosciutto, we got gabagool. You know, we got taleggio, we got Parmigiano Reggiano, we got some mountain cheese. But this is, you know, this is something that, you know, you would see traditionally, you know, like when you sat down, you know, the villages of Italy, you know what I mean? This is a village dish, you know what I mean?
It's
anywhere in Italy, there's always a mountain, there's always a cheese, and there's always some type of prosciutto or salami, and it's always left out, you know what I mean? And you just come and snack. You know
That's
what I mean?
great, dude.
Love that. What do you recommend? How do we dive
So you got
into
the bread. So this is local bread. This is kakuza. So this is like a flatbread that's been cooked over charcoal. You know, you take a piece, you eat it. You know, take some cheese. This is wine jam, and that's lemon prosecco.
Oh wow, what's wine jam?
So this is just red wine, right? The musk of it, and then we reduce it down for a long period of time,
Nice.
and then we freeze dry it, and then we chop it up.
Very cool. Oh yeah.
Right?
There we go.
So that's a taleggio. So
Like a brie or like
kind of like a brie, but it's going to have a little more pungent.
Okay.
Awesome. Oh man.
So I got a
so
question.
good,
You
bro.
said it earlier, right?
Yeah.
You guys love to cook, right? And I think that's awesome, right? I think what it comes down to, even as a home chef or someone that you truly have passion about cooking that dish because you want to cook it,
Yeah.
right? And you know that's what I say to everybody. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I can give you a recipe, right? And it can be so challenging for somebody. You know what I mean? Like, oh, but it's all about that. You know, it's three things, right? You got salt, you got pepper, right? And you have the ingredient, right?
Yeah.
You know, to mask it with all this other crazy stuff makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? 4 or 5 ingredients on a plate, enjoy it, right? But if you're passionate about, like, if you get a steak, you're gonna cook it to the way you like it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you eat a steak medium rare to medium, you know when that time is, right? Everyone's like, oh, how do you know? You just know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was always like, I worked at grills of 9 Steakhouse back in the day, mornings in New York and everything like that. Everyone's like, oh, what? Like, I still don't know what this means. You know what I mean? Rare. Well, I don't get it. I just know that if I cook a steak to medium, every steak is going to be medium. Then after that's medium well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Then well done is a fine. Well done is well done, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That person doesn't like me. You know what I mean?
It's kind of true.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Brock and I, obviously love to grill.
Yeah.
And, medium to Brock's going to be different than medium to me.
Yeah.
Right?
For me, I like medium rare because
Yeah.
then you get to really experience the meat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's what I do is if I'm at a nice place, especially any kind of good
Yeah.
steakhouse or anything like that, I'm always doing medium rare.
Yeah.
But if I'm going somewhere it's a little sketchy, like a Denny's or whatever, I'm
Yeah,
doing
well,
medium
yeah.
plus every time.
Cook that shit up.
Yeah. Just
so
be
that's
safe.
that's the whole thing,
Yeah, it's cool.
And then the other crazy thing is, right, that I love is like, oh, you're a chef, I'm afraid to cook for you. You know what? I just want a home cooked meal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever you put in front of me,
Yeah.
I will eat it. With a slice of bread. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's because as a chef, like, and that's as a chef. Oh, you must go home and cook all the time. And I'll drive home and stop at McDonald's.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I was talking about that with a buddy of ours, Morgan. He's a DJ, right? So
Yeah.
he's around music 24/7,
Yeah.
man. So when we go to the gym or do something active or whatever, he's like, no music, turn
Yeah.
it all off, right? It's you got to check out every now and again.
Yeah,
you know
you
what I
have
mean?
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's too much. You get
DJs,
burnt
yes.
out.
I
Yeah.
used to cook for DJ AM.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and
Oh, wow.
Jazzy Jeff.
Oh, no way. Yeah,
And you remember Paul Oakenfold?
yeah.
So Paul Oakenfold was classically trained as a chef in London. He went to culinary school.
You're kidding.
Swear to God, we had all the DJs go through there. So I worked at the Palms, right? But so he was. So we did a lunch at the Palms, like DJ Oakenfold and Chef Geno at my restaurant. Like we got it was packed, and like he made his recipes and everything like that from
awesome.
his culinary experience and everything like that.
Bro, that's
so
Jazzy
cool.
Jeff
Yeah.
Jazzy Jeff was really, really into culinary.
Really?
Like they would like.
It's just like a side passion you wouldn't
Yeah,
know.
but
right?
like that's what like that era was where when I moved to Vegas in 2000. Like I was like in awe of them, but they were more awe of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you're Geno. You know what I mean? You're at the fun. So like so there became the chef's celebrity, right?
Yeah.
There became a celebrity staff. Wolfgang Puck, Emerald Lagasse, you know, Mario Batali, you know what I mean?
I was going to ask you about that. Like, when did that enter the scene? And, you know, obviously we were just with Shep in Maui, and Brock and I did the podcast with Shep. And the best.
So like, yeah.
How did that kind of affect?
So that was another. I knew about Shep. I known Shep. I met Shep. But you just said it, like that. Totally, like going and cooking at his house for your father's birthday. Like, I was like a kid in a candy store. I swear. Like the first hour I got there before everything, I couldn't stop looking around. I'm like, this guy is this guy chef. Like he started the chef.
Yeah.
Right.
Legend.
He took the chef out of like those old pictures and everything like that, and made the rock star. Right. Made him important. The front level. How he did it, man. Like like with Emerald. You know what I mean? With Bam, with the Food Network.
Yeah, man.
And then you know Wolfgang Puck, and he brought Charlie Trotter here, and he like Mario Batali with the deals and everything like that. Like,
making the Italian sauces.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know the orange Crocs and everything like that. That dude is legendary.
Bro,
you know what I mean? Like
he carved a new path, man.
But in so many different paths, and like I went to the originator's house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, like, I'm looking at all the nostalgia. I'm like, there's cookbooks and everything like that. And there was a kid, actually Zach Allen worked for Mario Batali, and we went to culinary school together. And there's a picture just on a board, you know what I mean? On a board, like when Zach was like, you know, a young chef and everything like that, with Mario Batali. And I took a picture and I sent it to him like, look at this jackass, you know what I mean? And like text back, holy shit, you know what I mean? I remember that pic. But yeah, that guy, that guy like created something that no one ever thought possible.
Yeah.
He's had great chefs and everything like that. You know what I mean?
But you said rock star, right? He came from
star.
rock stars, and then he made chefs rock stars.
Rock stars, like paid top dollar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, and
changed the industry, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then especially like, so you know, right behind us is you know the beautiful Las Vegas Strip. You want to talk about changes, and you know when it was the 99-cent, you know, all you could eat, you know, shrimp and everything like that. The food, it wasn't about the food; it was about the gambling. It was about the you know the shows and everything like that. And now it's about, you don't even have to. People don't even come here to gamble anymore. You know what I mean? They go to show. We have every great chef of America, you know, Europe, worldwide, that has an outpost here.
Yeah,
that has a restaurant here.
Yeah. How do you think the city is going to handle the Super Bowl in a couple weeks?
I think we're ahead of schedule, meaning that we just had F1. So we had F1. I guess the city definitely figured out, you know, transportation, how to, you know, to move people in this city. Yeah. So I think it's going to be amazing. And it brings so much, I mean, I just can't believe, you know, I've been here 24 years that we have a football team, we have a hockey team, and we have the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's all happened pretty recently.
And the great thing is that I'll be, you know, 15 miles from the Strip, I think we are, or something like that. And we're at the Summit Club all the way up in the mountains in Summerlin, the highest peak with the greatest restaurant and the greatest views and the greatest members. And we'll be packed. We will be packed. Yeah. The golf course will be packed. Everybody that comes to Vegas wants to come to the Summit Club.
That's true.
And like we'll have like, you know, a huge party. You know what I mean? And the biggest Super Bowl party outside the United States is at El Dorado.
Oh yeah.
We turned something into that. It is the greatest Super Bowl party outside of America.
I 100% attest to that as well. Perfect transition.
Yeah.
When and where did you first get involved with Discovery and meet my dad, and how did that kind of journey begin?
Here's the greatest story of all time, right? I think my greatest culinary story ever. So I leave Vegas, right? I leave Las Vegas. I go back to New York, and I'm going to go marry my childhood sweetheart, my college sweetheart, right? And, you know, it's just time, right? George Maloof loses the Palms Hotel, right? You know, that was like after, like, during the whole, you know, the economy and everything. Like, so I go to New York. I work for a famous chef called David Burke, right? He's world renowned, right? He has 20 restaurants. Go back to New York. and I become his corporate chef, right?
Cool.
Yeah, we have Chicago, New York, you know, LA, everywhere, right? And I'm bouncing around, right? And still, you know, the love of my life. And it was, you know, wasn't all roses, you know what I mean? Like I moved into New York City. We lived on Bleecker and Thompson, a 1-bedroom. She had it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm working nonstop, and I didn't hit my stride. It was just one of those things that I know that I will never be a corporate executive chef. You know, I can't put my thumbprint on any one restaurant. I can go in, right, and change it a little, right? But when I leave, it goes back to whatever that chef wants to do. I don't give a shit. It never works. So my best friend is at El Dorado, Jay Beckman. He was there a year before me, right?
Mr. Beckman.
Mr. Beckman. Director, he was the golf pro. And he calls me up and he goes, I want you to talk to Mark Human. So Mark Human runs El Dorado.
Mr. Human. It's an inside joke. We always call each other Mr. Like.
So I'm like, and I'm on the kind of outs with my girl and everything too. I'm like, I'm not feeling it, right? So they're like, you want to come out to Cabo? So they fly me out there, right? She goes on like a work trip.
Terrible,
It's
bro.
like it was like perfect. She goes on a work trip, right? And I fly to Cabo. And I go down there and I meet Mr. Human, Mark, right? And you know, we're cooking and everything like that, right? And they offer me the job, right?
Sick.
So I'm like, break up with your girlfriend, you know what I mean? Like devastated, right? Like this childhood, like this is years and years, but it didn't work. So
you weren't gonna move her out there or anything. You guys,
Yeah. You learn a lot about somebody in a 1-bedroom apartment, I'm sure. Bro.
And then moved to Cabo, right?
Yeah.
I'm in Cabo for like a week and a half, right? And Meldman finds out that we have a new chef, and it's me. And he goes, "This is when he was like, there wasn't that many. This is when he was really tied into a lot of clubs, like from operations to everything.
less of them, easier to get around.
Yeah, and
no
he
5-year-old running around.
Yeah, he flipped out on Jay and Mark. Did you hire a chef without me knowing?
Oh, wow.
How the hell does this happen?
Yeah.
Really, like.
Yeah.
And then like Mark comes up to me, he's like, "Holy shit," you know what I mean? So he sends me to LA. Like I gotta go to Meldman's
meet
house.
Mike. Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
And I go and I cook. Like I gotta cook for him for like 5 days, right? And this is early on, like with Monica and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I know Monica like through a lot of like she's from Buffalo and like we had this great connection.
Yeah.
And I knew I knew I was gonna win your father over. It wasn't like. And it took like 2 days. That's how I got it. So like I'm hired,
That's
you know
awesome.
what I mean? I'm hired, you know what I mean? Next thing I know, and I'm like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like you guys are for real. They're like, we're fucking for real.
That's awesome, bro.
Hell yeah.
I mean, dude, that's just a testament to like Discovery's already incredible, right? But to have you come in and take the culinary experience to another level, that's like something that, dude.
Yeah.
I'll go back to a city for the right restaurant. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? I'll travel back just for that. So if you're adding that value on top of the massive value that's already there, it's like that's a game changer, man.
Yeah, no.
100%.
And what a dude! You're talking about getting nervous in front of MK, right? I'm talking about dude, man, amen, man.
But
Like,
that's what you know. That was the trials and tribulations that I came to get to there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like no big deal. You know what I mean? I was like, so
You're
like,
ready.
and then the great thing is like, I got a connection in LA and everything like that. My meat guys out there. My purveyors are out there and everything like that. I'm like, I get everything shipped and everything like that, and I have somebody come and help me out and everything like that. He's like, what's going on and everything like that. He's like,
I was gonna ask about that. Like, I'm a big fan of Chef's Table on Netflix, and a big thing there is how they supply their ingredients, right, for these big chefs.
Yeah.
And it's like, how important is that? Because
so I think what you're saying is the most realistic and the most truthful thing that you really have to come to as a chef, right? If you want to stay true, you have to work with your purveyors, right? You have to have that niche, right? So for me, I call my purveyors, right? I call the farms. I'm in tune with it, right? It's not like, listen, everybody, and I'm not dogging and I'm not downplaying, but Cisco and US Foods are there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
For the commodity stuff, balsamics, olive oils, and everything like that. But when it comes down to true things, I talk to fishermen still from San Diego to Maine to ranchers to even people in Mexico that, you know, what's going on with the avocados, what's going on with certain crops. But you have to, right? If you want to call yourself a chef, you have to be in tune where it came from, right? It didn't come from Cisco. It didn't come from U.S. Foods. You know what I mean? It came from a farm, right? And what does that farm believe in? You know what I mean? Right? And that's a lot of chefs don't get into that. Yeah. You know what I mean? When I was trained and everything like that, if you wanted to become a sous chef, I gave you you got a salmon, you got a chicken, and you got a fillet. You had to fabricate each and every one of them, and you had to get proper amount. You know, a fillet is out of that. The yield on the salmon, right? You had to say, all right, what's my yield at the end, right? Minus waste, carcass, right? Yeah. What's your yield? And can you roast this chicken, right? You can't do that. Why am I going to promote you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Right? What's right? So everybody thinks, oh, you know, fillet comes in that. No, I'm a butcher. You know, I fillet. I know how to break down carcasses.
Yeah.
I know how to grow a tomato. You know, but or I talk to the person that knows how to grow a tomato.
See, that's so cool to hear because what you're saying is like not only in the kitchen making the food, you know everyone's job there. So you know every job in front and behind.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to get you ahead and make you, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Like it gets you to a different
level.
level.
Matter. Like I can go into 99.9% of restaurants in any city, any country, any language. And I look at the menu and I can work that station.
That's amazing.
I can work that station.
I don't
care if it's a wok station and everything like that. I don't care if it's making burritos. We're making pasta.
Dude, that's just a testament to you and your craft, right? And your passion and actually, like, this is why you are here at Summit and you have Geno's and you've got your career behind you too, right? It's because you put in the time, you put in the effort, you put in the energy from day one, essentially, right? And you didn't give up on it. And then, like, it's different. Like, people can have a good career at it, right? But you're going to be lacking in certain areas. Like, and I'm just thinking, you know, out loud, really. But, like, when it comes to that too, like, how important and how often are you innovating, right? Because food, there's so many different ways to make a dish, right? And then to even find a new ingredient from Wisconsin or whatever, or from, like, you know, whatever it may be, that you're flying in. How often do you try to innovate, right?
My world, my life revolves around food, wine, and experiences.
Nice.
I mean, I'm always out and about. I'm always looking, you know what I mean? And now listen, you know what the great thing is, when I was young, Culinary, right? If you wanted to know, like, if there was a restaurant was popping and everything like that, right now you could go on the internet, right?
Yeah.
And you can find everybody's recipe and everything that is, like, super, super cool, right?
Except for Coca-Cola. We don't know the secret recipe, man. That's the only one left.
So I thought this was
so good, man. It's like, how do you
I
stop?
thought this was the coolest. So I read, I research and everything like that.
Yeah.
I thought this was the coolest thing that I've seen in a while. So read that.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, man. It's
Soup
not.
of the day, whiskey with instilled croutons.
Dude,
So I'm gonna put that on our special card this weekend
awesome,
and
bro.
everything like that.
Oh, that'll be great.
Dude, that's great.
Like I just like it was just so like all right, let's have we can still have fun with it and everything like that.
Yeah.
But you know, like I work for a company that's the 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
Our members all over traveled everywhere. There's eating everywhere.
Yeah.
And understands business and understands what value is, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always thinking, you know what I mean? I'm always like trying to improve it for the next thing, right?
Yeah. But even that too, like, think about, you're going to do that. You're going to include that in the menu, right? Yeah. And what's going to happen? Like, dude, next time someone asks me what I'm going to have to eat, I'm going to have some, the soup of the day is whiskey, and I'm going to have some H2O croutons, man. Like, it's just a funny joke
It's
that
a
you
joke,
can
right?
hand
Like,
on.
it's like, how can we sell whiskey? I mean, we're going to sell whiskey this way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Soup of the day is whiskey, right? With HDO croutons.
That's hilarious, dude. That's great, man.
Yeah. So it's just like, that's what my passion is all about, you know what I mean?
But that's cool, man, because like that for me too is like, I love adventures, right? I love exploring. I love traveling. I love meeting people. And even this podcast, we get to dive in with people, right? Like, you get to explore the world and life, not only through food, you know, but I can't even imagine the amount of experiences in the rooms you've had and you've sat in and you've been around people, right? And the conversations you've had because of this, right? Like, and this is what's bringing everyone together, man. And what you're saying too is like, it's funny to me because as an actor, as a producer, you know, like, you're working in the film industry, I go to a movie and I'm like, it's almost hard for me to sit back and not dissect it, right? I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
tracking
impossible.
but you're doing that with food,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Everywhere.
totally.
And so now when I'm going out, I'm like, I can think of different ways.
Yeah.
And one of the things you said to me too, right? You said a mercenary chef, bro.
Yeah.
I can't get that. I'm like, dude, that would be a great show, bro.
Merc chef.
Yeah.
So, but like when it comes to like for me, right? If I go out for dinner,
Yeah.
right? And I think this in general for any restaurant. For me, everyone's like, "Oh, you must critique the food." I really don't critique the food that much. I think if all four of us sat down, right, the whole meal can't be bad, right?
Yeah.
Like it just can't be. Like it's impossible, right?
For all 4 dishes to
It's
be
all
bad.
for dishes to be bad, right? It just
Yeah.
but what happens is that service is bad, then everything starts to be bad.
Yeah.
Then you start nitpicking.
Yeah.
Right.
You start to nitpick, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, so it's like, that's where I really excelled
Yeah.
as a chef because I could work the front of the house just as good as the GM and the server. I understand
Yeah.
sequence of service, right? Not to fuck up my food, right?
Yeah. Get that
And
part right.
because, listen, you go to a restaurant, right? We go to a restaurant, we pay, we're talking anywhere now is between 100, 150 average a person, right?
Yeah.
Having a drink and everything like that. If service sucks, then, oh, the meal sucked, right?
Yeah. Then it's overpriced.
Then it's overpriced.
like,
Like, why
Yeah.
did you give me that? That's bullshit and everything like that. So I think it comes down to like, you know, and that's what Discovery Land, we're service oriented.
Yeah.
We care.
Yeah.
Even though you're still a member and but I don't care.
Yeah.
Listen, you want to hear stories? I'm a dick. I could be an asshole. I'm mean.
Yeah. That's real, man. Yeah.
But no, like you hear those stories and everything like that. Like what's a chef like? I could be the nicest guy, or you
Yeah.
could turn me into a devil. Like
Yeah.
you're messing with me, my name, right?
Yeah.
My name, right? Like that's the other thing that like I always say and everything like that. Like I sometimes beat the horse down, so like I beat it down and everything like that. I'm like, if Meldman came in, would you be doing that, right?
Yeah.
If Meldman comes in, right, and you think I'm gonna give him a shitty meal, right?
Probably not.
No, never. You know what I mean? So like, you gotta think like we're cooking for the owner every goddamn day. Like
Yeah.
you're on your cell phone. Oh, it's not that he doesn't see it or anything like that, but it's bullshit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's principle too. You
Yeah.
know, but it's also like,
Which-
yeah.
It's like
It's also like, you know, you learn a lot about somebody too. Like
exactly.
for example, the example everyone I think always gives is how does that person treat the waiter, right? How do they treat the service? You know, it's and they could versus how they treat the owner or the chef or whatever it may be. But it's like if somebody's going to treat them like shit, then it tells you someone's character, right? But your character is like treat everyone like they're Mike Meldman, right? And then give them that experience. And I mean, one of my first jobs coming out of high school, I mean, I worked a trade first in air conditioning, but then I went into sales but in retail,
Yeah.
which is funny, bro.
Yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
just
right?
landed in it. It is what it was. And I ended up going to working at True Religion. You're selling
Yeah.
$300, $400, $500 pair of jeans, right?
yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot of money. But what I learned is exactly what you're saying is if somebody comes in there and they're thinking about spending even $150 on pair when Levi's are $20, right? It's that experience that I'm giving them that made the difference of my sales, right? And if I came in and I made them feel good, I'd tell them they look good, I make them laugh, they have an experience. One, every time they put those jeans on moving forward, they're going to be stoked, right?
Yeah.
It's the way that they feel when they're wearing them. They know they're going to look good, but then they also feel good about it. But if I went in and treated them like shit or didn't give them a service or whatever, probably not going to come back, probably not ever going to buy anything, right? But it's exactly your point.
Man.
You know, it's like you come in, you get an experience, you treat people with respect, and then you offer a great product on top of it. That's how you win.
Every restaurant in America, mom, pops, it's pennies on a dollar.
Yeah.
It's not. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're making all this money." No, man. Dude, here, ready? This costs something in a restaurant, right? You break it, you got to replace it. You know what I mean? This spoon, right? Oh, it might fall in the trash and everything like that. The other thing that I can't stand sometimes, not stand like I teach and I preach and I make sure that there's not endless money, right? At the end of the night, I'll go through the trash. I have no problem taking the trash and putting it out. All right, what's in there? You know, oh, why is there spoons in there? Why is there napkins in there? Someone's got to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't take the ownership, right, and that's what I've done, you know, and I'm lucky, like Meldman realized that, and you know, I have a restaurant, you know, that
But you saying that too, taking ownership, that's the exact sign of a leader, right?
Exactly.
That's what it takes to be a leader and to be that example for everyone else. So anyone underneath you sees you doing it, they're going to follow by example, right? And if they're not, well, see you when I see you.
So we had a production assistant for Showtime on HBO for Ray Donovan. And they basically were doing exactly what you said, right? They were very wasteful. I'm not going to name anyone or anything, right? But they were like, oh, it's Showtime. Like they can afford it, right? And CBS owns Showtime. And like it's a conglomerate. And it's like that attitude is like a cancer in a team, right? And it's like it's just like a complete lack of respect for your work, your team, your everything. And it's like, you know, you can be lucky to be in a position where, sure, we can replace something, right? Yeah. But it's more about the attitude and the intent and the morale, right? It's like 100%.
Yeah, not taking that opportunity for granted, right? Like,
because it's like you're making us all look bad, dude. Like, this is a huge opportunity for me, and I want to do good at this job, and I want our team to do well, and you're making us look bad.
Yeah.
But that's
it's bullshit.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. All right, what are you working on right now?
So I just wanted to get them a little soaked and everything like that. So tomatoes. Listen, tomatoes in the summertime are amazing, but as we have culinary advanced, we could cultivate and, you know, do indoor tomatoes just as good with the lighting and everything like that, just to make sure that there's still at that premier ripeness and everything like that. So we got these cool, like, they're called Kumamoto tomatoes. They're grown in Florida. Nice. We get them shipped here. So now they're at their peak point, right? So a tomato loves great things. It loves salt.
Okay.
It loves pepper, and it loves a lot of extra virgin olive oil.
Is that more for the flavor complex, or is it more?
Well, it takes it. So what it's going to do is going to take the acidity out of the tomato.
Okay.
You know, like for me as an Italian kid growing up, like I had Jersey tomatoes. They would grow on a turnpike on a parkway. Whoever. That's how good, you know, it's the garden state.
Yeah.
You know, everybody,
That's
all
awesome.
the Jersey. We got what? The Trenton and Newark? Bullshit. It's called the garden state because we got good soil, right?
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
But what I'm saying, but now I can't eat tomatoes because there's so much acid in it, right?
Yeah.
It's like certain wines, right? And we're going to get to
over
wine.
time,
you know, the high acidity just, you know, it kills my stomach.
Yeah.
But with the olive oil and the salt and the pepper, it draws it away and everything like that. And then I put the basil in there,
Sick.
Genovese basil, and it's going to be nice and sweet, right? So just on a platter, right?
Is there balsamic in that?
Yeah, so I put a little balsamic, right?
I love balsamic.
Yeah. And then we talked about pesto, right?
Yeah.
And then we'd be getting pesto, the greatest green thing ever made, right?
Yeah.
You got basil, cheese, and garlic. Well, what's better, right? And pine nuts.
Can't miss.
What's the key to a good pesto?
To me, you don't overblend it, right?
So it keeps more texture.
And then I also put like little cubes of butter in there if you're gonna freeze it, just so the butter like absorbs the moisture. And then we have burrata, right? You guys are familiar with mozzarella, mozz. You just gotta get the mozz. But so burrata on the outside, as I open it, that's the mozzarella curd, right? And then on the inside is the cream.
That's awesome.
Now the other pet peeve, right? All this needs is just salt, right? And pepper.
Yeah.
Now, like, so you go to other places, right? And we use really good balsamic, right? We use a balsamic olive oil, right? We don't use the balsamic, you know, like you see sometimes, like it looks like chocolate syrup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because all it is cheap balsamic reduced down with a lot of sugar, right?
Interesting.
So
just really quick, where can you get something like, or where would you recommend shopping for?
So I would say any of your great Whole Foods, right?
Okay, cool.
If you're in any major city now, Italy, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Italy, like is it, you know, Chicago, New York, LA, and everything like that. And that's it. You know what I mean? This would be a classic.
Wow.
You know, tomato dish that you would see pretty much all over Italy and everything like that. If we talked about wine with this dish, like tomatoes and wine, it's like it's two bulls, two rams hitting each other because you have the acidity of one thing, right, and the acidity of the other thing. So if there was some type of wine, I would say something like that has more fruit forward, like a Pinot, right?
Okay.
That's nice.
If you were gonna do it.
If you were gonna do it,
Yeah.
but like this is like so. There's always everybody does wine. Like wine dinners is just a great things to do, right? Yeah. But like if the like and I'll with the sommelier, right? I'll be like, oh, we're gonna do tomatoes. And then they don't know what to do. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? This Pinot from Oregon will work great because you got such a high acidity in the tomatoes, but the fruit's going to counter and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I also am putting Dorado that has a creaminess to it.
Mm. Yeah, kind of. You can balance it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I can't even explain how fresh and good this tastes all together. It's amazing.
Exactly. You know, it's simple.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
When you are able to make this much good food and be around it all the time, how do you not weigh 500 pounds, bro? Because that would be my problem.
Great question. So I'm an athlete, you know what I mean? Grew up wrestling, soccer, you know what I mean? So I have that.
We talked about martial arts.
Yeah,
too,
martial arts, you know what I mean?
Wrestlers are tough,
yeah.
man.
But, there's, don't get me wrong. Like I go through times, phases and everything like that. When I was working on the strip, it's adrenaline, you know what I mean? You work on a strip or a busy restaurant, you use 600 covers and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's like you're like a fucking prime fighter and everything like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when you get out, you just can't go home. It's 12 o'clock and everything like that. Then you start hitting the bars and everything like that. And fucking Vegas, 24/7, you know what I mean?
Makes it easy to keep going. Yeah.
And you meet up with and then listen, that's the lifestyle. Then you meet up with all your chef friends and everything like that. You're at the bar, then the drinks coming, then the stories are coming, right? The fish was this big, and then, oh my God, we did 7,000 covers in an hour. You know what I mean?
Damn,
so
dude.
the story, that 1 pound fish became a 10-pound fish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's getting
and
bigger
then,
and bigger.
Then
Yeah,
you talk about like this, like Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? This server.
What's that show? They're all on the ships, right? What is it? The
above
deck or something, or below deck?
Below deck. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
But also as you get, older and you get wiser, health is important.
Yeah.
Dieting is important and eating right is important. But I'm really hooked. I'm a huge F45 person.
Oh, really? Yeah, man. I've done a couple of classes, man. They're fun.
Been really, really addicted to it.
Honestly,
and like I feel like the whole thing is also like I feel like some things have changed. You know what I mean? I'm getting up earlier, right? And I could work later, and I'm more focused and everything like that because it's easy to fall. So I just got back from Hawaii, right? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I just got back to. It's hard to get back in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Get
I'm like I like
going,
this morning. Like I really, really had to get the out of bed as a chef, And it's easy for a chef. Like if I had to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning to do breakfast, Jackrabbit right there.
Yeah.
I have to go to the gym.
Yeah, man. No, yeah. That's part of it, though, man.
Yeah.
But it makes all the difference when you do it, right?
Yeah.
Those F45 classes are great too.
Yeah.
Like the circuits they do. They don't kill you too much on one thing, just enough to get that great workout, and then you go to the next one.
And the cool thing is, like, it's 45 minutes, but 30 minutes of workout.
Yeah, because you get just enough rest in between. Yeah, that's right.
And it fits my lifestyle as a chef.
Perfect, man. Yeah.
This is phenomenal.
Right?
Yeah.
It's simple. But, like, you see, like, when you marinate the tomatoes and the salt goes into them, the peppers go into them.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
The mozzarella's blown me away too, and the pesto does kind of bring that out in it. I don't know what I've like.
The garlic in there, the freshness of the garlic and the pine nuts, the pignoli.
Okay.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere about when you're first coming over to El Dorado, right? Because El Dorado, you can have a private experience, but then you could have, you're feeding a bunch of people, right? Up to like, I think it said, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? But up to like 1,000 people, at certain points, right? What is that like?
Going from the restaurant business, and when I say restaurant business, I mean like going to like a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
So at El Dorado, right, we're talking, me as a chef, I was, a restaurant chef,
Yeah.
lunch or dinner, right? Then I go down there. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's, one week you do like, it's all slow and everything like that. But then after Thanksgiving, that spaceship doesn't stop.
Very seasonal.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee, right? And you gotta work it.
Yeah.
You gotta work harder. You just work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You just do it.
But the one thing that I did learn, and after the first thing I did was you just gotta be organized, and you have to have it. You have to have it. It's like a playbook. It's like a coach and everything like that. You have to have your playbook, right?
Yeah.
But you have to have good chefs with you and good cooks that could call you audible.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, Meldman's house just went to 50 instead of his 20. All right, what are we going to do? We have the game plan for 20, but then, here's the game plan.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's being organized. And the whole other thing is, goddamn ordering. You know what I mean? Like, there was times at El Dorado, it's like, I had one lady, right? That all she did for 8 hours was make goddamn guacamole.
Wow.
Just
There's
so much
such a
was
demand.
being
That,
8 hours. And I'm talking like, all right, and like, you're not like, I'm not price conscious or anything like that. I'm like, all right, I ordered 20 cases of avocados. Like,
yeah.
people are eating it.
And halfway through the day, like, Chef, Hefe, there's no more avocados. I'm like, what do you mean? Dude, we use 20 cases of avocados. And,
Wow,
but then
man.
it goes like, but then I realized, like, all right, avocado, it's a staple, right? It goes everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It goes to every place at El Dorado.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, we want guacamole. So then I'm like, all right, 40 cases. You know what I mean? The next, Hefe, no more avocados. I'm like, what? Then there's just one person making salsa all day long.
Wow.
There's just one person frying chips all day long at El Dorado. That's because during that period of time, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's chips, guacamole, and salsa.
I mean, I've never, every time I've been down there, man, that's where you start your meals with that, or you just have it there just to have all the time, man.
But you wouldn't
Sitting
think.
on the bar,
Yeah.
conversation.
But you wouldn't think, like, you'd be like, oh, yeah.
You're not thinking hundreds of other people are
Yes,
also ordering the same
totally.
thing, right? We're thinking
Yeah.
like, oh, dude, great. We're stoked to have some chips and guac, right? But when you scale it,
Yeah, it's huge.
that's different. Yeah. That's,
And then that's
that's
because
crazy.
you're in a resort, right?
Yeah.
So I come from the restaurant mentality and everything like that. Like 20 cases, like, oh, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, they're just
There's a
That's
capacity,
what Javier's
right?
orders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole week, got on a Friday for the weekend. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because what's a normal restaurant seat? Like 100 people? Or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
Like that?
So it's like that's
crazy.
yeah.
But then you adjust, like you said, you change the playbook, right?
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
figure it
yeah.
out, and then I'm sure, like, depending on how many members are in town, you got to work with member services, see who's in town, what are the numbers, because, like you said, in an off season, you're probably not ordering the same.
No,
amount, right?
not
It's
even
like,
even close,
But how exciting is that? That's there's nothing boring about that,
dude.
right?
It was a high. It was
Yeah.
it was like it was that first year at El Dorado was a real high for
Bro,
me.
all I know is the
Oh,
next
yeah.
time I go down to El Dorado, I come over here, I'm like, yo, the guac is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And-
But it was a high, it's something I
Yeah.
never did before. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I got I got punched in the face. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's
But you rose to the occasion.
yeah,
man.
yeah. It was like it was a challenge. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
And big shout out to Jay Beckman and Mark Human down there, 100%.
Yeah.
Dude, love those guys.
And Mike Meldman.
Yeah.
You know.
But that was like, that was the place. You know what I mean? That was the place in Discovery for a long time, right? Right. Well,
sure.
you've been there.
Signature
Well, you were there.
property at an important time.
That was
Yeah.
that was the heart and soul. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you were the chef or you worked at El Dorado, you were.
Well, and think about, like, we were just with Dante
Yeah.
and Maui too.
Yeah,
Dante
exactly.
Jimenez, right? And
Yeah.
Dante was down there doing sales for 9-10
10
years,
years,
right?
yeah.
And he became like a big brother to me, and now he's married and doing sales in Maui, and
He's
we were all
married.
just together, and right, it's like another big shout out to Travis Chamberlain.
Yes.
Right. Like we always talk about how, Discovery is like a big family, and in Pops' episode, we were saying, I kind of mentioned Travis and how I was like 7 and he was like 17 when we first met, and he was at Kikio. And man, to go to McKenna and see, him and his beautiful 3 children, and his wife, Chelsea, and like, it's just so freaking cool to like, see them, and you think back to all the different times, and now you're here, right? And we're here together, and
Totally, I remember. Yeah.
it's just, and Brock's been to so many properties too.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
man.
I'm getting all emotional, but
But no, that's like what I am too. Like I think that this what your father created is so special. But as a chef, right? So when I first took the job here 7 years, I've been here 8 years, right? At the Summit Club. I was here when it was dirt. I cooked in an 18-wheeler, right? And there was a tent, right?
That's awesome.
And no one knew what the Summit was.
I have a video of the first dynamite
Oh,
exploding.
explosion, yeah.
Yeah.
How much dirt we
sick.
moved here. no one knew, right? No one knew. Everyone said, oh, Meldman, this is going to be a failure, right? This place is going to be, it's not going to work, right? Dude. There's no way, right? There's no fucking way and everything like that. 8 years in, this place, you can't buy property, right? You can sell your property for 3 or 4 times more than what you bought for. So Meldman is such a forward thinker.
Yeah, man.
And what we did, you know, and what we were trained to do from his eyes, the people that we put in place is we execute.
Yeah.
We execute the plan, right? Listen.
Yeah, man.
We sell real estate and discovery land, but the amenities have to be so goddamn great that when you show a client, a prospect, we call them.
Yeah.
Everybody has to do their due diligence, right?
But you know, it's
every aspect.
Yes, right.
But to that point too, like you said, it's there's the amenities, there's the golf, there's the community in here, there's and then there's amazing property, right?
Yeah.
Location, everything. Like it's not you have to do the work. You got to hook them, right? At the same time, I don't know any place better than this, man.
No,
you know what I mean. Like there's no place. Each discovery property.
Every discovery has its own little entity, right? There's only their nook and everything like that. You have members that are members in 5, 6 different places, right?
Yeah.
Multiple places overseas now, right? Dubai is coming on, and people from here are going down there and buying lots.
Yeah.
Scotland, Portugal,
yeah.
Barbuda,
Costa Rica. I mean, like, I wouldn't even know how to get. Like,
dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like someone goes, where? Like, I'm like, Puerto Rico is next. Puerto Rico's on there. We
heard about that.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
You're James Island. It's like you build something, people will come. But you build something great, you're gonna get more. You're gonna get the thing, and that's the one thing that, like, I always have to say, like, I was a chef on the Strip, but my life as a chef now, I'm at the level. I'm at the summit.
You're at the
like,
summit.
I have chefs now saying, like, oh, 7 years ago, oh, you're just a chef at the Summit Club. Now they see what goes on and everything like that. They come over here. I invite them over there to see the clubhouse. They see my restaurant.
Yeah.
They see the sushi restaurant. They're pulling out, like, oh my God, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, don't ever think that I was out of the game. I'm in the game bigger than you think, right?
But that's, I mean, look at that, man. Like obviously Mike, Will's dad, Mike Meldman, able to have this incredible foresight, right? And this vision and then the ability to get there, right? You also, even though you came in at El Dorado, you got to experience discovery and you had massive workload, but you showed up, you did the work, you built something with discovery, right? Coming here, when you said it, it's just dirt, it's just ground, you took a chance on that too, especially
without a doubt,
100%.
All right, so pasta guys, right?
Ooh, my favorite.
So it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So we have dry. So this is like,
we gotta do this more often, man. I'm telling
you. So this is Rustachelica. This is like one of my favorite brands ever, right? This is cavatelli, right? Something I grew up very fondly with, right? Like, so cavatelli would be rolled in a fork in your hand, right?
I like cavatelli because it's like penne, but
the
sauce gets captured.
Well, what I made earlier for you today, I made it my great grandmother's famous lobster raviolis.
Oh man,
right?
I love that.
And it's gonna be simple. It's just gonna be a little brown butter, a little mirepoix, and lemon, right? We also make at the club tagliatelle, which is my favorite for bolognese tagliatelle.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show you guys a difference, right? So you see how yellow that is? Right? And this is a little more off-white, right? Mm-hmm. So this is 100% egg yolks. That's all. This is egg yolk pasta. Egg yolk and 00 flour. This we use eggs, whole eggs.
Yeah.
So that's why you have the whiteness in there. Because what we want is the lacticity, right? This, we're not stretching that much. Yeah. With pasta, we're stretching it. We're stretching it. With a ravioli, I want to keep it contained. Yeah. Because I want this would be, it's a quick cook for al dente. This fresh pasta, you're never really going to get super al dente. But with the egg whites, with the white, you'll get it, right? So with dry pasta, you got to cook it to what it says on the back. There's instructions. Because there's instructions, right? Yeah. Especially with dry pasta. You want to cook it, right?
Yeah.
But you want to cook it to al dente, right?
Sure.
Right, to the tooth, right?
All right.
Is that what al dente is?
Yeah, to the tooth.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So you didn't know that, bro? Come on.
So wait.
No, I did.
All right, so in America, right, when we say al dente, that means mush to everybody, right?
Mush, okay. All right.
No. So my early culinary days when I was working at Nove, right? George Maloof every year would send me to Italy to train and to explore.
And for the audience, Maloof,
George Maloof.
Yeah, he was owner of the
owner of the Sacramento Kings.
Owner of the Kings.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Palms Hotel. So every year they would send me to Italy to cook and travel and work in certain restaurants or wineries or prosciutto plants. And but when I would go there, everything was true to what al dente means, to the tooth, right? And I understood why, because when when you live in these parts of Italy, you're not eating a lot of meat, you're eating a lot of pasta, so that chew felt relevant, like that. And you're eating something hearty, you know what I mean? So not eating something soft and wimpy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you had that chew to it, right? So you're chewing, so that's why al dente, to the tooth. So every time I would come back to after my trips, I'd tell all my chefs and everything like that, we're changing it. We're going to al dente, and I'm gonna teach you guys what al dente is, right? Everyone's like, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't give a fuck. I was in Italy. This is how we got the game. We gotta eat this food. I'm representing where I came from, right?
Yeah.
Friday night comes, we start. About come to rush, this pasta comes back. This pasta comes back. All these pastas come back.
No.
And I get it because Americans aren't used to that. They don't understand it. They think it's raw, but it's not.
You'd have to educate
pasta,
them.
So when you get rigatoni, so they're right.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, just fucking cook the pasta. But like, listen, especially in Las Vegas, maybe not in LA as much, but Vegas, we got the builders convention. These guys want steak, potato, and meat.
Steak,
you know
exactly, every meal. I guess you got to know your audience a little bit.
Yeah. For me, I like the salt water because I don't have a heavy hand with salt. Right? That's my first stage of salt. Right? That's another thing. Like, chefs got to understand what salt is. So for me, it boils quicker, right? And it gives a flavor to water, right? But with salt is a tricky thing, right? Yeah, that's salted, and then that's salted. And if you do another dish, you're putting salt.
Yeah.
You know, that's why a lot of chefs don't understand, right? But when I make a dish or I have a conversation, I understand a dish, I eat it from start to finish.
Yeah.
I don't eat like 3 bites. Wow, that's the greatest bite, right?
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people say, "Oh, the dish is salty," because you ate the whole dish. You ate the whole veal chop dish.
Yeah.
It got salty. Why? Because you salted the potatoes.
Yeah.
You salted the veal. You salted this, right? And then the sauce is salty. So by the time your salt palate just adds up.
Yep.
You need a little water after that.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for people like when they?
I'd rather say, listen, here's salt and pepper. You're not offending me.
Yeah. Put it on after.
Yeah. I'd rather use salt and pepper it than send it back and say it's too salty.
Right.
Because if there's a lot of dishes that we eat out, right, it's a component, right? So you have the protein, you have the starch, you have the vegetable, right?
Yeah.
If they're all salted, by the time you eat, and that's what another chef doesn't think about, or a young chef doesn't think about. Did you eat that dish? Oh, I tasted I tasted that.
One bite could be great, but an entire dish.
But the whole dish, you know. And then the chef's like, "Oh my God, it's not salty." Well, yeah, you didn't fucking sit. You didn't spend $85, right? And eat the whole dish. And at the end of the night, you want a gallon of water.
Yeah.
Just wake up in the middle of the night.
You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So I get it. So I saw one component, and then we'll get to it. So fresh raviolis, you just dip them in there. The water's like a big bubble bath.
Nice.
It's rolling.
How many times have you been to Italy?
20 times.
Wow.
I've been going since I was a little kid.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot.
Both sides of the family.
Have you spent extended time there? Like
the longest I was there was 4 months.
That's a pretty good amount of time.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
4 months in Florence.
1/4 a year.
Yeah.
So what is it about the food there? Is it really like, because obviously you hear about no preservatives, it's more fresh. I mean, obviously that's not fake, right? Like that's a real thing.
Not at all.
I feel that when I eat there, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't feel the super
it doesn't feel
lethargic
heavy.
from the pasta. Right. What are some secrets about that you can kind of share with us that you've experienced over the years?
There's not a fucking grocery store anywhere.
Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's not an AM/PM. There's not a ShopRite. There's not a Kroger's. There's not anything, right? You're gonna go to the meat guy that slaughtered the beef. You're gonna go to the lamb guy. If there's fish. You're gonna go get the tomato where the tomato guy came from.
Yep.
You're going to markets. You know what I mean? It's all organically grown. Raised the right way. Right? There's no preservatives. There's no. You want milk? Well, you know where the milk comes from. The goddamn cow.
Cows in the
Go
back,
find a
baby.
cow, man.
So that's where it becomes so beautiful. Will, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then the other thing is, listen, you're in Rome. It's Roman food.
I love Rome.
You're not gonna have a dish from Florence. You're not gonna have a dish from Sicily. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about.
For anybody that's interested in traveling or planning on traveling to Italy, what are like maybe one to three? Tucci. And they canceled that show? What the fuck's the matter with that, dude? Why? Why'd they cancel it? I don't know, man.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't. Well, now I'm going to, bro. Yeah.
Well, I don't know Tucci.
Yeah.
Tucci, he's like he wrote it like he's like Anthony Bourdain, but Tucci wrote about like the truth, like he's an actor. I don't know, an actor, something like that. Yeah. But he he goes to all these places in Italy.
That's great. So follow his stuff. Where to go, what to do. Yeah.
I would say there's the Michelin guides and everything.
Yeah.
But it's also like, you know what, you gotta explore it, man. You gotta get.
Well, dude, I went out there and the guy I think he passed away.
Tucci.
But not him, but this guy. So they told us about this guy that like once a month or something like that. He opens up his house and only seats 4 people.
Oh, really?
At once a month or something like that. And then you come in and you get this like unbelievable like multiple course meal that you can only get there. But it's just like there's things like that all over the place. Man, or if you get invited, like I remember I had some friends out there and they invited me to go to their family's house, man, have dinner with them.
That's the one thing that's amazing in any culture outside ours, that everyone's pretty much like come in and hang out and eat, Here it's like, So if I'm just like cooking like for friends and family or we're just hanging out, I like to always take the plate and put a little olive oil, a little cheese, a little cracked black pepper, right? There's all like, I'm not a big sauce part, like pasta, like you don't need it to be too saucy and everything.
The condiments are kind of built in, right?
Yeah.
Pennies in there.
Is that chicken cutlet?
That's a Jersey chicken cutlet. That kid from the Giants, the quarterback, he got all his fame for a chicken cutlet. I make the original chicken cutlet. I grew up on a chicken cutlet. I'm gonna explain what the fucking chicken cutlet is because I'm pissed that this kid from the Giants, he went like this with his. Oh man.
We definitely need the chicken cutlet story for sure.
So here we go. We got a little lobster raviolis.
Oh wow.
So I just paired it with a little mirepoix, a little butter, a little brown butter, a little white wine, and a lot of lemon. But so with the mirepoix is carrot, celery, and onions that I reduced down. But it just gives it that crunch that you want.
Man, it smells good.
And this is the family recipe, right?
Yeah, this is my great grandmother's little lobster ravioli with egg pasta. So on the outside, you're going to get the al dente. Then as you go in, it's going to get a little softer. So on the outside, when I say al dente, it has a bite to it, it has a chew.
This is the Italian version, not the American.
Not the American. So you got the carrot, celery, and onions, so you got freshness, right? And then you got lemon, which everything like lemon, right? Then you have the lobster that's inside. And then
so much flavor.
So everyone says like, oh, cheap, right? And so I use Parmesan Reggiano, and I use a 24-month Reggiano. So with Reggiano, that's another story that we'll talk about, right? But it's basically salt, right? It's like Mexican. It's a table cheese, right? So the process of it, that it has lime in it and it's been cured for so long. Yeah. So basically, that's the salt that I want you to taste, right? Yeah. So you see what I'm saying? It's not salty.
No.
The brown butter. I brown the butter. I get a ounce of wet, right?
There's so many different like layers of flavor in this thing. Like, and there's just like, it's still so fresh.
But it's light.
It's light. It's not like, it's nothing's overbearing or like beating one thing out or the other. And then it's like, it's just good, man. This is
good eating, dude.
Yeah.
And I really do prefer an al dente pasta.
Yeah.
A little harder, right?
Yeah.
And like, I also really like crunchy stuff with my food. That's why I always eat,
that's
like,
why I
chips
think the
with a
Nearpod,
sandwich
because
or-
you're eating, and it's also fresh, right? Carrots are
100%.
fresh, celery's fresh, you know what I mean?
That's why it's just perfect,
Yeah.
dude.
I mean, visually, it looks great.
Pasta's a craft. And I've always, since my childhood, seeing my great grandmother, make pasta. It's always like, so if I'm having a bad day or pissed off or something like that, I'll just go and make pasta. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but we have, you guys are lucky. You guys are in LA. Like, you guys got Felix. Like, dude, you got some badass, some guys that know how to cook over there. You know?
Yeah, we don't got Geno though.
Nah, you come to the summit, you always have Geno.
Yes, sir.
And shout out to Craig. We got Craig's out in LA.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I love Craig. He taught me a lot. He's an awesome restaurateur.
Yeah.
So there's a difference, right? He knows how to work the business.
Another person that was close with Jerry Weintraub as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old school Italian movies, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? There's a dish called aglio.
Alio.
Aglio. Aglio! Right?
Oh, yeah.
Two things, garlic and olive oil. But how to make this takes years and years of cooking. And I'm not bullshitting you. I'm going to teach you why. How to get the olive oil at the right temperature, right? So it's nice and garlicky brown, right? That's what now, smell it,
Oh yeah.
right?
Okay.
That's the aglio, right? And your water and your pasta, right?
So the pasta water you're throwing in there.
Yeah. Now, garlic, when it gets to this flavor, it's nicely caramelized, right? Then it's parsley. Then it's a little Parmigiano Reggiano.
Jeez.
Then I put the cracked black pepper in there. You don't need salt because everything else is salty. So you go to restaurants all over New York City, and you say, hey, let me get some aglio. The fucking meat chef be like, get the fuck out of here. It's time consuming because it's got to be perfect. I tell you to fuck off because you got to get the garlic to that consistency. This is aglio, but the garlic's got to get to that point, and it's a hard thing to do and manage.
Caramelized, yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, you got it. Oh, I want aglio. How do you mean you can't cook aglio? Because it's precise. The garlic's got to be at that specific thing. It's not burnt, right? You took the garlic to the most point where it becomes. You get a little brown butter in it, and with the olive oil and the cheese and the parsley.
You're right.
Like, this is a difficult dish to make. This isn't.
You can tell that it's like normal ingredients cooked in a different way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you got that one big plate.
There we go.
One
Trying
bite
to
of
leave
it.
a little bit for Will, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to.
But you know what I'm saying? So, like the garlic, you got to get it to a point where it's just right. And when to put the extra virgin olive oil there, when to put the cheese, and how to put the parsley there. That's a dish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And I look at it, and I just know from where I want. Because some of the garlic is a little more caramelized, right? So
Yeah.
you're going to get that chew. Some is a little less raw. But it's how you toss it around and everything like that.
Aglio!
Did I say aglio? So every day, my great-grandmother, this is how it would be. Piece of chicken that's been fried in the morning time, and it's flour, egg yolks, salt, pepper, a little chili oil, right? And homemade Italian breadcrumbs that grandma made every day. That's it. 1, 2, 3. Then you let it rest. You pan fry it in 90-10, 90% canola oil, 10% extra virgin olive oil. And you would just leave it out. And that's it. This is the tradition, right? Then all of a sudden someone, 100 years ago said, oh, you got to color it. Let's put marinara on it. Let's put some mozzarella. We got chicken parmesan. There's no way. No, but so chicken color, right? So every day we would come home from school or you were just hungry and there would be a pile of chicken cutlets. And you knew it was good because, see that? There's the oil, right? And then what you would do is you'd go grab a piece of cutlet, right? Squeeze a little lemon on it, right? And then here, I'll cut it up for you.
Oh, we got a knife.
So you cut it in half, and that's the traditional chicken cutlet. Like this is Italian. This is like you want to talk about Italian American, how we grew up in it, how we grew up on the East Coast. Every Italian family, you would go to every household, and that would be their good piece of chicken cutlet, pounded, and that's it.
And you could just have that any time of day. It's just there to.
And then breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Oh, that's amazing.
Straight up.
That's it.
So you got the charcuterie with this. Like you guys are eating all the time, eating good.
But it's simple. Everyone's like, it's lemon at the end.
Oh wow.
The simple chicken cutlet. So the story goes, this kid from on the Giants, he became famous. This is a Jersey thing, right? Staten Island, Brooklyn, New Jersey, all Italian families. Every grandmother, right? How do you feed the kids, right? Every dish had something to do with my culinary history.
That's so cool, man.
That's
making
awesome,
pasta, making olio, right?
Yeah.
Making the lobster raviolis, right? But the chicken cutlet to me was everything in the world. You know what I mean? It's not dry.
No, I was just gonna say there's nothing. It's not dry at all.
Not at all.
No, and it sat there all day. That sat there
You would
forever.
never know that, bro. See, you think food's sitting out, it's gonna go bad. It's gonna
it's
be
not.
stale. It's gonna be. This is like. I can't even explain how good
we talked
it is.
about Europe all the time, right?
Yeah.
How come eggs sit out there forever?
That's true, dude. Thank you for sharing this with us. This is unreal.
Right?
Yeah.
I think
we're switching our podcast.
Yeah. Studio 22 has officially changed. No, but honestly, it is really cool and special that these dishes did kind of tell a story of your life as well. And, I really enjoy going through all this with you. And
this is the first phase. The next phase is, I'm a big fisherman.
Yeah.
I love fish.
That's awesome.
oh, us too.
I mean, I think that is that's a topic in itself that, the next one we'll just do everything fish.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Because you got to understand, every culture, right? Everybody lived by the ocean, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You know what I mean? So you hear that? You hear that pop? You hear that pops?
Yeah. What is that?
Right? That's when you know to put it in the next piece. But that's it. Just think about it. You run through the house, there's chicken cutlets sitting there all the time.
Oh,
But you always knew that you could eat them when you see the oil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's when they were well rested. It drained out all the oil.
Yeah. It's ready to
So
go.
cool.
Right?
And then after seafood, we got to do dessert.
Dessert, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where, you know what? That, you want to talk about culinary and I was I did culinary arts, right? So you do a broad thing of culinary arts, right? You do 20 different things, right?
Yeah.
I wish I went to culinary school for baking and pastry.
Really? Just
For
in
pure
general?
science,
Okay.
right? If you make a cake,
Yeah.
if there's a recipe, you don't change the recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bread is, you know what I mean? To make a loaf of bread, you need X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
You can't put anything else in there.
Yeah. Or it ruins the whole thing.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Great British Baking Show?
Yeah.
Fucking love
I
that
love
show.
it.
Dude.
But it's a science.
Yeah, and you can really tell that in the
No,
show.
it's a science.
Yeah.
And that's where you get down to the cups, milligrams. And
Yeah.
you know what? We're the only goddamn country that doesn't do, we don't do the metric system. We do ounces.
Yeah.
And so all the recipes are all my recipes are from Germany or from even
All metric.
Italy. It's it's all grams.
Yeah.
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 Well,
That's a whole different, yeah.
Fuck, dude.
That's a whole nother level, bro. That's a whole nother layer to
So
to
then
work
I
with.
get it. Then I gotta put it to
Convert it.
everything else. It's
You
crazy.
give the translations on Google.
Yeah,
the
like,
converter,
yeah.
You got to go in Chat GPT and be like, yo, change this to like.
Yeah.
No,
But
that's
no,
awesome, man.
desserts and baking and pastry.
Yeah.
Like I could have went to that. Like cooking's cooking. Like you find a flair in art. But to make the greatest bread, it's a science. Like Nancy Silverton,
yeah.
like she fucking
Oh, yeah.
We love her
Incredible.
spot
Fucking-
in LA.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're saying
Monza.
it's one of those places where
Or
you
yeah,
go.
La Masa and
Loma.
Chispaca.
Yeah, Chai Spacca.
Yeah,
that is
Chispaca,
the
yeah.
that is the greatest chef table ever.
yeah.
If you sit
Dude,
right at
yeah.
that fucking
Yeah.
bar,
We
it
were
is-
watching it and we're like, we're going there now.
Yes.
And us two and Morton went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then right across from there is Ludo's place, the little burger place.
On the other side, yeah.
Yeah, on the other side of the street.
Ludo's, yeah, it's a
The other side of the street where
Chispaca.
Chai Spacca is.
It's called Ludo's. It's a cheese.
No. He's Chef Ludo, but he has like it's like a
Forgot
little
the name
French
of it.
place. It's right across the street. He makes the best burger.
Okay. Well, I gotta go check that out then.
We'll do lunch there and then dinner.
Yeah.
Chai Spacca.
Right.
Can Chai Spacca?
Dude, it's
So good.
Dude, no.
But
Her
what you were saying
bread.
earlier, right? You were saying you go to a restaurant and like one, you got to have that experience, the
Yeah.
customer service, all that stuff. Because if one dish or two dishes are off, then
Yeah.
you know, like whatever. But Chai Spacca, there's not one thing
Fucking, there's
on
not
the
one
menu
thing.
that's bad. Everything is
perfect.
just as good or better than the next.
That chicken soaked in the sauce and the oil, man. Like the bread there. Even her mozzarella is like she flies in.
Yeah.
Gelato.
So for me, it's like when I go to I go to LA, I'll go to Venice and I'll go to Justa.
We got to get a list of restaurants for in LA.
Yeah, I'll give you the list.
Yeah.
Animal is always great, and I redid Delilah's too. When I worked
really?
I worked for Hakkasan for a
Yeah.
while. I redid Delilah. You ever been to Sunagun?
Do you mean the one out here or the one?
No,
in LA, right?
In
Really?
LA,
Oh,
I
wow.
redid LA.
On Melrose?
Yeah.
Delilah's
John
great.
Taffer or someone, whatever his name is. John.
Yeah, H-Wood Group.
Yeah, the H-Wood Group.
Yeah.
Hakkasan owned 51% of them.
Got it.
So they had the Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Fucking-
Delilah's still
amazing.
pretty high. Yeah.
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 Fucking
It's great.
chicken fingers, big deal.
What about for people listening in like New York, Miami? Like, what are just a few you can just give out?
New York. So New York is tough, right? That's
There's a
That's
lot.
that.
Yeah, there's a
that
lot
city.
there, yeah.
That for me would be Peasant, which is an old school Italian restaurant.
Cool.
Only cooked on wood. Only cooked on wood.
Yeah.
It's ever changing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing. Like within cities, it always changes. You know what I mean?
What about Miami?
Miami, I would have to say, Joe's.
Yeah.
Joe's is a
Classic.
is never going to change. Burn Steakhouse, maybe, right?
Yep.
You got that.
Yep.
New York, you have Peter Luger's pizza. For me, which you guys are going to be like, holy shit, he just said it, and I'll say it right now: the best pizza in the country is Connecticut.
Really? What is it?
It's called Pepe's.
Pepe's? Okay.
Not
Or Sally's.
Phoenix, Arizona.
No. That he has a good pizza.
Is it Chris?
Chris Bianco.
Bianco.
Yeah, he has a great pizza. But the best for me is Pepe's or Sally's in New Haven, Connecticut.
Interesting.
It's called a pizza. It's just
pizza.
different. It's thinner. They have a white clam pie.
That's cool. Yeah.
Oh, wait. John's on Bleecker. How can I forget John's on Bleecker? Who one of the best pizzerias in New York City. But for me, San Francisco,
Yeah.
Hog Island. Me, get off the plane, take the train in, right? Go to Ferry Building, go to Hog Island Oyster Bar, get a dozen oysters. Go out the left, go to fucking Slanted Door.
Yeah,
Go to
yeah.
Slanted Door. Go to Perbacco real quick, get a couple pieces of salumi. Then go to A16, right? Or SPQR. And, San
Yeah.
Francisco I love.
Yeah,
San
Slanted Door,
San
yeah.
Francisco to me is a Chicago too. I mean, they're great cities, but they're always changing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've
And
changed
especially
a lot
like
since I've been
I
there.
haven't traveled that much after COVID. So
Yeah.
let's say I know the institutional restaurants should be there.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they came out of how they came out of it.
Yeah, we lost a lot in LA.
Yeah, huge amount.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you got a point there. But that's at that same time though, you know, it's keeps it interesting, right?
Yeah.
When you find a new place, like when
Like Son of a
came
Gun.
in there, I was like, dude.
You ever go to Son of a Gun? That was like
Yeah. That's in San Francisco or LA?
LA.
Oh yeah, no.
I'll send you to LA with.
Yeah, let's do it, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks for the Rex.
Yeah, man. For a chef that has obviously gone above and beyond, that's made some incredible food, like you've had an incredible career. I'm just saying, like, even in general, what's the best way that we could compliment you as somebody that just enjoyed an incredible meal, right? Like whether it's in the restaurant or just now.
I just think like, you know, for this particular thing, for me, it was a conversation and to educate, really like to educate you guys as podcasters and, you know, as entrepreneurs in your field that, you know, my job is intense.
Yeah.
And that there's a passion, you know what I mean? You guys have that, and I see it in your guys' eyes and, you know, known you for a long time and, you know, you as well. I think what we can do through this is education. Right?
Yeah, man. I mean, I learned a lot today, man.
You know, I think, you know, if there's a young chef out there that, you know, happens to see this, you know, to where I got took many, many years and hours and dedication, you know. But listen, there is that one great thing that happens. If you get that shot, take that fucking shot, drive that ball all the way down the field. That's it. Like, you know, like it happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
man.
you know, and it's friendship, you know?
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
No, I
Thank
love
you
it.
for this meal. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for your time, man. Like, incredible, bro. Yeah.
Thank you, Geno. And special thanks to the Summit Club for having us, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you for watching Studio 22.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And follow our socials at Studio 22 Podcast.